Alright guys, this is going to be the final and last part of the tutorial. In the previous part we set up the joints and the controllers. In this part we're going to make a mesh that deforms the way we want it to, and we're going to put it all together in one big nice thing. So let's get started. Well, we already have this. What we need is now the mesh that should be controlled, and we're going to make NURB surfaces with this. So the way we're going to do that is we're actually going to make a curve. If you go to create, you can create a CV curve. If you go to the option box, you can see that the options should be one linear uniform, and that's alright. So I'm just gonna make the curve, and again our great tool, the V snap, is that I'm going to hold V, and I'm going to press on every joint we have. So I'm going to press the first one, and it doesn't matter if you hit the control joint or the spine joint, and I'm just going to do that on every joint. So not much magic here, it's really simple. And then in the end I'm going to hit enter to end the curve. Now this curve, we're not going to use it later on, so I'm just going to move it out a bit, and I'm going to click Ctrl D to duplicate it. So now we have two curves, and we want these two curves to form an NURB surface. So I'm going to go to surfaces, and we're going to use loft, I think it is. So I'm going to go to the option box, and is it loft? Ah, yes it is. Okay, so I'm just gonna hit apply. And then we get this, and you can see that we have the resolution fits where our joints is, and this is actually what we want. So the joints that we made is mostly just for measuring, and we will later separate them from each other. But I will show that, of course. So now this is our NURB surface, but one thing that I like to do is I would like to make the resolution even bigger, simply because it will make the result more nice when you have the ribbon. It will look more smooth. So if you go to edit NURBs, you can go to rebuild surfaces, option box, and down here you can have numbers of span U, numbers of span V, and this is actually just the coordinates of this mesh you made. So I want 16, because right now we have 8 faces. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I want the double, but I don't want any in the other axis, so that's just going to be left to 1. I'm going to hit apply, and you can see that added a lot more. Now this is a good thing. The thing we want to do now is we want to name this. So we're going to call it ribbon mesh. Yeah, that's fine. And then if we go to the outliner, you can see we have our curves. We're going to select them and delete them. Excuse me. The thing we want to do now is we actually want to make hair. I know it sounds weird, but that's what we're going to do. So you have your shelves. If you go to the hair shelf, the first one is called create hair options. Create hair options. So I'm going to press create hair, and when this opens, I have the U count and the V count, and I want 9. I want 9 hairs, if you can say it like that, on my mesh. So roots of hair, you might say. So I'm just gonna click apply. And I know you're thinking this is getting more and more weird. I hope you can bear with me. So this creates the hair. The reason why we're using hair is because the hair is going to follow the surface. And we want that. I will explain it. So you can see out here in the outliner, we have something called hair system 2 follicles, and we have hair system 2. The reason why it's called 2 is because I already made a system. So we're actually just going to select the hair system 2 or 1 and delete it. You also have PFX hair 1. I'm going to try and delete that as well. Nothing happened, that's good. So now we only have the follicles. These are what we want. You can see down here you have the 9 roots of hair, you will call it that. And you can see you can select every one of those. And what we want to do now is actually to place all these roots. And I'm not sure if there's any smart way to do that. If there is, please let me know. But you want these to be on the joints. So out here you have the U and the V coordinate, and so it's really simple to just place them. The first one I want, of course, to be 0, 0, 0, maybe 1. So it will be placed all the way up to the top. And the second one, I think it's 11 something. Not quite. So I'm just gonna try and match it. Okay, 12 and a half. But you don't want it to be fit in the V. That doesn't matter at all, so you shouldn't care about that. Don't worry. I'm just gonna go on to the next one, and this is pretty mindless work, so there's really not that much to it. So it's just a bit about, I'm only doing this on eye measuring, because in my world it's not that important. Oops, the wrong way. That looks about right. And this is going to be in the middle. Yes, that's all fine. So these follicles will each have a joint on them. And these joints are going to follow this mesh, which means that this mesh is actually going to indicate how our character will look. So hopefully it will be more clear when I actually show it. So you can see that I'm just turning a bit around to see if everything fits. 999 and done. God damn it, we are cool. So we got our follicles, and you can name them if you want to. I don't want to, because this shouldn't be a tutorial that lasts one entire day. So now you can see you have all the joints here, and we're going to use those joints. So actually I'm going to select number 9, and then I'm going to select all of them. And you don't need to do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to not select number 1. I'm going to press Shift P now, which you can see makes all the joints not connected. And that's also a good thing, because now we can put them into the follicles. So this should be 9, the first one. I'm just going to middle mouse drag it up in the outliner. And I'm going to do the same thing for 8. This should be the second one. And it might be a bit hard to see without having a naming convention, but if you're cool like me, you will manage to do it. And also there's a number in front of every follicle, so it's not that complicated actually. And then I'm going to take 1 and put it in here. So now we have all our joints following the surfaces, and let's just check. If you right click on the surface, you will get these this marking menu, and if you click control vertices, you can now control the vertices. So if I drag it, you can see that the joints are actually following. So that's really nice. This means we're actually close to being done. So what we want now is of course the controllers to control them. So let me hide this, and we have our mesh and we have our joints. up here. So I'm going to select the mesh and then the joints, and then I'm gonna go to animation in this tab. I'm gonna go to skin, bind skin, smooth skin bind, and I can see that I should select the surface first and then the joints down in the bottom. So I'm gonna select the surface and then I'm gonna select the joints by holding Control in the outliner, and then I'm gonna go to option box. I'm gonna reset everything. The only thing you want on is normalize weights should be set to interactive. This is because interactive only goes up to the value of 1 when you're painting weights, and post goes to more than 1. So it makes it really complicating to paint weights. That's why you should actually always keep it on interactive. And then I'm gonna hit bind skin. So now I should be able to move the joints, and you can see it already kind of look like it works. The only thing is the mesh looks a bit weird, but you can actually just fix that with painting weights. And I'm gonna show that in a moment. But first, I want the joints to follow the controllers. So I'm gonna select the first controller and the first joint, and then I'm gonna go to constraint, parent. So now when I move the joint, you can see that the mesh actually follows. I'm gonna do the same thing for the middle joint. Now I don't have to go to constraint, parent every time. I can just hit G, because G will repeat the last action that I did. So now it follows, and I'm gonna do that with the last one as well. G. Alright, so the only thing we want now is when I move this joint, I want the middle joint to follow as well, or the middle controller. Let me try that again. When I move this controller, I want the middle controller to follow as well. But I can plug the... Oh damn! I forgot something. I forgot to freeze transformations. Let's see if I can still do it. Okay. Okay. You should of course freeze the transformations out here. So I'm gonna do that. Modify, freeze transformation. And then it's all zeroed out. Whew. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. But as I said, we want the middle controller to follow the two other controllers. So we should going to select these two and then the last one in the end and just make a parent constraint. But if we do that, the controller now gets a value out here, which means we can still move it, but you can't animate it when it has these values or blue colors or whatever. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this controller and we're going to duplicate it, and then we're going to rename it. We're going to call it control curve group, or maybe just control group. Control group ribbon. Alright, and then if you click the little plus sign, you should be able to see the shape. If you're not able to see the shape, if you go to, then you have to go to display and show shapes. So I'm just going to delete the shape. So now we basically have an empty group, which means that I can now drag the middle controller by using the middle mouse button as well, middle, down to the group. And this places it in the group, and this group we can now move around as well. So this group is what we're going to parent constrain. I'm going to select the controllers again, and then control clicking the overall group, not the controller under, the overall group. Sorry. And then I'm going to parent. And because I had the two ones selected, it will only follow with half the intensity, if you can say it like that. And you can see that we're beginning to have what we wanted. Wow, sorry. And now if I zero it out, it all looks perfect. So the only thing left is actually pinning weights on this one. So I'm gonna go to edit, smooth skin, and where is it? Paint skin weights tool option box. Wow. Okay, my screen is a little. It's not too big. Close this. Why can't I? Okay. So this is basically, this is really simple. You just want a nice gradient between the joints and a nice distance between them. So I already made a tutorial on how to paint weights, so I'm not going to do that. But I might show a little quick tip. If you're going to use smooth, you can't do that because it will just take values from random joints. So what you need to do is, if you want to smooth this joint number 3 and joint number 2, the things in between, you'll have to lock this joint. So you can just press the little lock icon here, and then you can start smoothing out in between. Because then it only has 2 joints that it can select from, so you need to lock all the joints besides the joints that you want to smooth in between. So now I'm just smoothing, and let's see if it works. You can see it already looks a lot better. And couldn't press D. So I'm just gonna go up in the menu, and then I'm gonna unlock this one, and I'm gonna lock the third one. So now I can smooth between these 2, and yes, I'm going to smooth it. So I ended up painting anyways. But you can play around with this because it's really important that it looks good, the way you move it and stuff. So let's just check. You can see there's still a little bit weird stuff going on, and it's really hard to get rid of that, but you can get pretty close, and still you can just tweak it however you want to make it fit when you have the rig. So that was basically the tutorial. I would love to hear if the tutorial goes too fast or if it goes too slow. I try not to waste too much time talking about random stuff. I would also love to hear if you have some suggestions on how you can use this rig and what you use it for yourself, and how you could use it, for example, in other things that are character. It would be really nice to know. And of course, if you have some ideas, some things to make it better or improve it, I would love to hear it in the comments. Now, I don't check the YouTube comments that often, so I suggest that you go to polyface.com and write it there, because then other people can enjoy it as well. So thanks a lot for listening. Subscribe and make a user on the website. See you next time. Thank you.